It's now my pleasure to invite up onto stage Ait Voncke. Ait is the CEO of the AVIV Group, doing some fantastic things here in Europe, and he's going to talk about the future of marketplaces, sharing the AVIV vision. Ait, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, good morning, everyone. Very excited to be here. Excited because I see all of you, this audience, as brothers and sisters on the same mission to uplift this industry with technology. Also very excited to talk a little bit about AVIV. We are not very public because we're focused on executing our mission. So let me talk to you or take you a little bit back, a little bit of history here. All my life, I've been looking for big adventures, and I started as an engineer in the microchip. You have to help me out with the clicker here. There we go. As an engineer in the microchip industry, because at that time I thought it was the most exciting thing that was going on, and it was going to revolutionize everything we were used to, and it did. You know, all our phones, our social media, our laptops, etc., it's all powered by microchips. Now, after that, I moved on, and the internet came around. I joined Groupon, the founding team of Groupon. Some of you might remember that. It was the fastest growing e-commerce company at the time. After that, I joined, or I met during that time, Dara Khosrowshahi, who's now the CEO of Uber, and I joined Expedia with him. I run the global hotel part of Expedia. That was 52 countries. Now, that was an industry that went through a huge transformation as well, and I'll talk a bit about that later on. And during that time, I lived in 10 countries. I moved 25 times. Now, I've been a renter, I sold, I bought, I've been a landlord, and I can guarantee you, and I think many of you will see it in the same way, it's damn complicated, right? All these processes in all the countries, and there's probably millions of people going through that difficult process probably for the last 100 years. And I argue that it absolutely doesn't need to be that way. The technology is there to make it a lot easier, to take a lot of friction out of that process, and that is why I joined AVIV. Now, I do think there's a lot of parallels here to the transformation that the travel industry went through, and it's interesting to put a mirror real estate travel. So let me quickly walk you through the different stages that I see there in that journey. So travel, you might remember, and by the way, for those of you born in the 19s or afterwards, it probably looks very archaic, what I'm talking about here, but everything I'm talking about just happened in the last 25 years in our lifespan. So traveling in my student days was going to a travel agent, right? Most of them even had a kind of waiting corner, like going to the hairdresser or a doctor. There was no transparency, no empowerment. Somebody was sitting at the other side of the desk, right, at a computer. They had to make phone calls to do the booking. No idea whether you were getting a good deal or not. Cumbersome, slow. I would call that travel 1.0. Travel 2.0, and there actually Expedia was the first to put all that inventory on the internet. So that was an era of empowerment for travels, transparency for travelers, and made it a lot easier. What I call 3.0 in travel is where there's the era of convenience. So still empowerment, transparency, convenience, everything in one place. And that's also where partners flock to that platform. You could now deal with hotels, flights, activities, insurance, all on one platform, direct booking, and a lot of services wrapped around it. Now, when I left the travel industry, I'd say that they were en route, and that's what travel is working on now. What I would call 4.0 is the era of assistance. So you get now guided largely through AI, guided to make the right decision, but also throughout your journey, you get support. If something goes wrong or you want to change, then you get guided through an assistant. Now that's the travel industry. If we look now at the real estate industry very quickly, how did it look like at the same time as travel 1.0? What I call real estate 1.0, it was offline classifieds, and you had to go through a broker. You never knew whether that broker had full visibility of the inventory in your region, so you had to go to multiple brokers. They probably show you a printout with a back picture, a bit of text on there. No idea whether you were getting a good deal. Now then, and many of us were involved probably in this one, the internet came about, And brands like ours, Seloger, realestate, etc., we brought convenience, we brought transparency and empowerment to that market. Now, I would argue, and very similar here to what Malcolm said yesterday, I'm sure Simon's going to say the same thing tomorrow, that's kind of where we got stuck, right? The last 20 years, not much has happened here in this industry. And what I would call 3.0 in travel, in real estate, is really servicing and creating services for everybody that's interacting in the real estate process and with the platform. So we've started that journey. Many of you started that journey. Some examples here is what's the first thing you think about if you want to start a project is what's the value of my property. So we created price maps, estimators. The next thing as a seeker, can I afford that property? So we created some calculators, mortgage calculators. Also for agents, we introduced services, concierge services, helping to qualify leads. So we're on that journey, but there's still so much more to do here. And I believe the technology is right to go after all that. Now, the technology, as we've seen yesterday as well, is a potential disruptor for our platforms. But I worked many years for a person called Barry Diller. Many of you might know him. He had a saying, or he pushed us, and he said, disruption is opportunity. So we were always focused when a disruption came around, what's the opportunity in here? So that's the journey that we want to lead here at AVIV. That's the journey I joined for to move this forward. So if you compare that, very similar. We got a bit stuck, but very similar. So this journey has happened before. And pioneers like Expedia and Booking.com have done that in travel. So that's what we're up to at AVIV. So a couple of things about AVIV. I could talk hours about AVIV, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Just 3 points. Who are we? What makes us unique? And maybe some key ingredients of success. So who are we at AVIV? We operate in 5 countries. We have one platform. We have the largest group of agents on the platform, listings, traffic. We have about 2,000 AVIVers working on that mission. And let me tell you maybe what's unique, and I brought a very simplified picture here. But what's unique when I joined AVIV is I told all these services that we need to build for the future, we're only going to build them one time. And we're building about 80, 90 capabilities. We're about halfway now that we're building in a microservices, white label, API, a setup, so that we can plug them in all the countries and all the different brands that we operate. Now, when you think about key ingredients, and also here, let me keep it very simple, and maybe I'll start with another Barry Diller quote is, in business, you don't get what you deserve, but you get what you negotiate. So when I started this role, I was sure to negotiate with my investors that we got enough funding and that we were crystal clear aligned on this big transformation or this big journey that we're on here. So key would be capital or investors that are aligned with the mission. The second one, obviously, talent that can implement this mission. And we managed, with the story of Europe building this European platform, European champion, we managed to attract good folks from product and tech, also from other companies that injecting the experience from Amazon, from Google, Zalando, and Expedia, of course. And the third one I would call out, and that's probably the hardest one to get right, is creating a culture of perform and transform, because I believe this is why a lot of the platforms actually move so slow in that direction, because we have to continue to perform while we are transforming and introducing these new business models, etc. And of course, the graveyard of tech companies that didn't pull this off is huge, right? If you think of the Netscape, Nokia, Yahoo, etc., it's not that they didn't see it coming or they were too dumb to execute it. It's just super hard, and you need to build the right culture to make sure that you can pull off this parallel world of continuing to perform, to grow, and at the same time transform the company. So voila, let me just touch on a couple of things that we've put live already in the last 12 months. So a couple of highlights here. One is, of course, our price maps. So what you're seeing here is the different brands, or a couple of them, that have a very detailed price algorithm where for free you can check the value of your property. You can check it out on our websites or on our apps. Interesting here is that it, of course, is powered by one stack. So you're looking at the same thing, but in different countries on different brands, with a very precise accuracy, right? So in many regions we are plus minus 4%, in other regions plus minus 6% accuracy in our estimation of the property. Now, another example here I want to show you is what we call the prospection map. Actually, it's kind of the flip side of the price map, and agents love this one, so they can see in their region, around their agency, who's interacting with that price map. So if people are interested, they're doing an estimation, they say, I might be able to sell in 6 months or in 12 months, and we give that information. Of course, not the exact person or the exact property, but we show them in this region, people are actively thinking about selling, and then they can focus their prospection in their region where they see that activity. Let me give you one more. I won't go into it deeply because you've seen it already in previous presentations. Natural language search. So that one might be a bit harder to find because we only have a part of the traffic running on it in Belgium. Very cool, actually, to play around with it. You can do things like 3-bedroom, Brussels, when it's close to the center, and I want a wooden floor. And the thing just scrapes and looks at all the pictures and brings you all the wooden floors. Or I want to see properties that have a view on trees through the window. So these kind of crazy searches can already be done there. One last one, and it's an interesting one, because all these services, I don't want to or don't need to build all of them myself. So we're building an open platform that other partners can connect with to bring solutions to the platform. So here's an example. We're working with Plato in France. We're bringing that service to Belgium later this year. Very kind of common in the US to have the opportunity to book a viewing directly on the website. Not so common in Europe to do that. So we've implemented that in France now, and you see an example here. You can book your time. On the flip side, the agent has a dashboard, can see all the leads coming in with some qualification. Is it a hot lead, not hot lead? So that drastically reduces the amount of no-shows. It makes the process a lot more seamless for seekers because we have reminders, etc. Your meeting is coming up in 24 hours from now. Are you sure you still want to go there, etc., etc. It's a good example there of how we implement our partnerships, and there's a lot more to come and a lot more there. So, to finish off, and that's a video we created, it's just 2 minutes, with a bit more what's coming in the next 12 months. We don't show this externally, actually, it's the first time we show that externally, it's just more for our teams internally. But have a look here, 2 minutes, a bit about the future of what's coming up. If we can play the video.
At AVIV, we have one mission: to unlock everyone's perfect place. At the foundation lies the AVIV platform. Sitting at the intersection of supply and demand, we can best meet the needs of all actors and play an essential role in matching sellers, buyers, developers, renters, landlords, and professionals. Finding a dream home is as emotional as it is rational. At AVIV, we believe that every property seeker should benefit from a fast and personalized search experience across all channels and leveraging the latest leading technologies. We view every seeker interaction as an opportunity to learn more about their needs in the market, constantly refining the search experience. Engaging the largest seeker audience is paramount to creating property owner willingness to list on our marketplaces and having the most complete property inventory in our marketplaces. That is vibrancy in action. We are building innovative solutions for property owners to meet their unique needs, from learning about the market and the value of their property, to listing it on time, to qualifying all incoming leads, all in one single place. Our platform continues to serve our long-standing professional clients, offering them the widest range of professional solutions ranging from promoting their listings, to building their agent brand, to prospecting new sellers. We connect agents in real time to marketplace activity to facilitate decision-making and simplify lead generation and lead management like never before. our mission remains to help agents grow their revenue and the return on their marketing investment. Because we are uniquely positioned to engage a maximum number of users, we develop a comprehensive view of the market. We understand their needs faster than anyone else, from the very first interaction and throughout the life journey of our users. By staying by our users' side, we are uniquely placed to match them with the right agent, owner, or professional when the time is just right. We're building a pan-European real estate platform, powering locally relevant marketplaces and building first and foremost to scale. We leverage millions of user interactions every day to enrich our data models, allow us to learn very quickly, bring innovative solutions to market faster, and expand our business in new markets over time. Our platform ambition is twofold: to build Europe's most comprehensive real estate property catalog and develop an unparalleled ability to nurture Europe's largest buyer, renter, and seller lead community. That is the power of AVIV. Let's build the future together and unlock everyone's perfect place.
All right. So I hope that gave you a little bit of an impression what we're after at AVIV. If you are building solutions and you see opportunities to collaborate with us on the platform to make life easier, to take the friction out for seekers, for owners, and for agents, then please contact me, contact my team, contact AVIV. Thank you very much. Very looking forward to connect the rest of the day here with all of you. I hope, Simon. Thank you.
Hey, thank you for that. Fantastic to see how you're going towards this path of unlocking everyone's perfect place. We've got some great questions who have been coming up here. Clearly, the first question people are going to ask is, are you planning to grow internationally or further internationally?
Well, the simple answer is yes. And why do I think that? I think everything, and we see it, what we're doing, everything we're doing, it's basically the same for every country. So I think at some point, it just makes sense to collaborate more or to come together. So I think, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And acquisitions or organically?
Let's see. But I can tell you it's actually very easy to spin up an additional brand. So it's only a matter of days. Of course, it needs to be adapted with local inventory, etc. But becoming very easy to go to the next country. Yeah.
We won't push that one too hard. Okay, you recently launched for sale by owner onto the Seloger platform. What has been the market reaction to that move?
Yes, so I got a lot of pushback. You shouldn't do that, right? Bringing privates, because Seloger, for those of you familiar with the French market, was the portal of professionals, and now we opened it up to privates. Got a bit of commotion there in the press, but I talked to a lot of our customers and our big customers. It's just, we need to have the inventory, right? So there was no way around it. We had to act. It's slowly dying out, I would say, the pushback. Some agents did indeed leave the platform, but in the end, it's a logical thing that we had to do to make sure that we have all the selection on our platform.
And I guess if you're going to live to the mission of unlocking everyone's perfect place, you have to have capacity to do that.
Yes.
By having the complete inventory in the market.
Yep.
Don't you think that the customer ratings have played a massive role in the travel industry? So we're talking about the travel industry and where you've come from. How do you see this happening in real estate? Do you think there'll be customer ratings of agents? We've seen it in the past, but do you think it's going to become more prevalent?
Absolutely. I think absolutely. So somebody presented here, I think it was Property Finder yesterday, around agent scoring. So we see similar things, that is leads, they don't get a reaction, right? It takes days for somebody to pick up the phone, or we saw at some point in time that 20% of our leads didn't even get an answer. Now, people that interact with our platform, they see this as, well, it's AVIV that is not responding, right? It's not the agent, they don't even know who's behind it. So absolutely bringing in scoring, looking at agents that convert well, that have a good response, that take care of our customers is something that we will introduce very soon. Yeah.
Okay. So that's, to me, an element of trust. Mm-hmm. How do you think about the relationship of the brand with all parties in the system, and what is trust to you as that element, or part of that relationship?
Yeah. So I would say it's, I think we have 3 jobs to do, right? It's attract all the stakeholders to the platform, facilitate, make sure people find their way on the platform, and then match stakeholders on that platform. And I think if you do that with a lot of transparency, so back to the previous example of agent scoring, as long as you're transparent, I think that builds trust. That's what builds trust, because a seeker knows how we are scoring agents, agents know how they can improve their score or what they need to adapt to get a better score. So I think that's the key to building that trust.
Okay. Now, how do you see yourself versus the competition? Where are you ahead? Where are you behind? And what are you going to do to catch up?
Okay, interesting. So of course we're behind and ahead in many. I would say the strength of us is of course in the what we call vendor lead business. So MeilleursAgents joined the group. I think it was 3 years ago. It was just before my time. That is a real strength that we then white labeled and put live in the different countries. So a big chunk of the business is now creating, qualifying, and distributing vendor leads to the right agents with a kind of concierge service. So that's definitely a strength. If I'm honest about where we are maybe lacking behind, I think a lot of our stack was 30 years old, right? We just celebrated 30 years of Seloger. So for those of you familiar, that's a bit of Pascal and COBOL is still in there. So there was a lot of work to make that, to give it an uplift. That's still what we're working on. So not all funnels on the platform are upgraded yet. But there, I would say we definitely still lack a bit in user experience on some of these experiences, yeah.
Okay, another question is, how do you estimate the quality of a property valuation?
Okay, so that is actually a very complex process, right? We have about 40 data scientists in the company that have been building this up for the last 8 years. That was really the core of the Meilleurs value proposition. It's a mix of a lot of data. It's trends that we see, interactions with the platform, historical data, future data that we then retroactively fit with the real data, right? So that's why it's a continuous real-time process of updating prices. And at some point, of course, we get the real value of the property, right? That's published in some of the countries, where we can then map what we projected versus the reality that came out, and that just optimizes the process over and over in real time.
And I guess as you get more and more efficient with that, you build more and more trust in the brand and the information you're providing, and thus you become the center and the hub of where everyone goes to find their perfect place.
Yep. So we actually had governments using our data. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but to check people's tax statements, right? To see.
It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
Can understand. One last question, because I think it's important. It says, do all your brands need to move to the new platform that you're building? And how practical is that considering your legacy platform? But I think at the core of that is, AVIV's what, 2.5 years old in its current format, and you're on a sort of 5-year journey.
Yeah.
What have been the real main challenges of bringing that together? And then we can sort of answer this question in a bit more detail.
Yeah, the challenge is obviously the legacy, right? We were still operating data centers until half a year ago with a lot of that legacy code. Now, there's different ways to tackle that. You could say, is there a leading platform that we can migrate everyone on, right? Or do we build a completely new platform, and then after, when that's ready, we migrate everyone on? We actually didn't take A or B, we did C, which is which capabilities are very important for our growth, and those are the ones that we are going to retrofit, or even better, the ones that don't exist yet, those is the ones that we are going to focus on first, and that's how, for example, we created that seller business very quickly in the other companies. So I'm not sure what the original question was. But
the original question is here is then do all the brands need to move to that one platform? So is having one platform critical to the future success?
Yes, because it makes it so much easier. So already on our front pages, putting a feature live, it's a matter of hours to put it live in the different countries and on the different brands. So it just creates so much more scale and efficiency by putting it all on one stack. You know.
Ait, thank you very much. Fantastic to hear what AVIV is doing, and well done, and good luck for the next few years.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.